Right, everyone, welcome back. And today we're luckily joined by El Presidente himself again, man, Damien Brown. Damien, look, man, obviously we're a few weeks out now from Beatdown 3. How's your morning been on this fine Saturday morning?
Oh man, it's been awesome. Actually, we've in my gym. I commonly get the old, you guys never wanted a fight gym, you wanted a martial arts gym. So what's happening? And the reality is that we're 4 years in, and I've got 13 people fighting in the first 2 weeks of March. So
wow,
Saturday morning is busy. It's a compulsory training session for the fighters at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we shark tanked 13 of them this morning, and it was busy, it was vibing, but I loved it. Best part is my family gets to come down and hang out at work, and so Saturdays are always good for me.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, look, Damien, man, we're obviously, like we said, a few weeks out now from Beatdown 3, March 4th, from Eaton Hill Hotel. And look, judging by the last, the success of the last card, I mean, being there live and being able to witness that was quite special. Just the atmosphere, especially, the fights and everything were amazing, but the atmosphere as well that was created on the night was also fantastic. The fights, that women's fight was obviously fight of the night. Everyone's down on their feet clapping. It was an amazing fight. So, which fight, if there is one, are you most excited for and looking forward to for this Beatdown 3 promotion?
Well, look, man, we do have a stacked card. We've got 9 pro fights. We've got 4 amateurs. And, at the end of the day, it's hard not – for me as a technician, someone that's done this sport for so long, it's hard not to be excited about heavyweights that knock each other out and flyweights that go to decisions.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what does excite me, flyweights that don't go to decisions. And for those that know, and if you don't now you do, Stuart Nickel is, in my opinion, and I'll be honest, he's the number 2 flyweight in the country, only besides Urseg.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think he's the number 1 flyweight, but it's hard to argue that Stephen Urseg is not as good as he is. He subs people, he knocks people out. He should have been on the Contender Series, and that's just the reality. And I'm not here to argue that, but Stuart Nickel's right on his tail.
Mm-hmm.
The guy knows how to finish fights. He's 5-0 with four wins by stoppage, and only 1 decision to Jamie Renouf. And it's I'm very excited for that main event. We could have had a number of main events, but I felt like it's good for the Australian MMA community to see a flyweight fight showcase. And I don't think we see many flyweight main events because people tend to keep them away for ratings and whatnot. And I'm not about that. I'm about opportunities for fighters. And I know from a business point of view, we need to have the ratings and we need to do all that sort of stuff. But these guys, they need a platform, and he needs to headline a card at some point. He needs to feel what that's like. And I'd be surprised if we've had many, if any, flyweight main events that aren't title fights in the country. And so I'm very excited for that. It's the fight, in my opinion, to keep an eye on. But we do have some bangers. We got some guys making pro debuts that people should watch. Max Kelly, Caleb Miller, their opponents. Tom Ackley. Their team tends to think that it was very difficult to find him a matchup. He's 7-1, maybe 7-0 as an amateur. Max is 4-3.
Credence Anderson as well. He was a good one.
Yeah, Credence. He doesn't have the best record, but he's got definitely got the best hands. But if he hits you on the chin, you got problems. Like, the card's stacked, really. It's not super experienced across the card, but it's stacked with, the potential for a lot of finishes or a lot of decisions.
Yeah, definitely. So, Damien, something I just want to ask is, obviously it's still, early days for the promotion, but are there any lessons in particular that you've learned from previous shows that you're sort of able to apply heading into this card?
Oh, look, we fix everything, constantly. I think that's normal with business. I like to think we've had a very successful first 2 cards. We've had great fights. We've had, we sold out both of them. We've had a good night out in all, which is kind of what we want for the fans. We want the fans to be like, I need a night out, so I'm going to head to Beatdown Promotions. And it's not necessarily like I want to see a fight show. I just want to, I want to hit the audience that probably wouldn't go if it was at a sports arena, but instead they're going because it's at the Eaton's Hill. And that's what we really want to provide, is a night out for the fans and an experience for the fighters that's a lot like the way you get treated at an upper level promotion.
Yep.
The reality is, as far as fight purses go, and I say this to everyone, is, you know, we can't pay UFC dollars. No one can. And I'm not here to outprice every other promotion, because that fucks the entire market. Like, then I can't give everyone fights. Everyone expects the same off other promotions, and it just doesn't really work out. So, you know, we like to think that we have a good starting point for debut fighters. We make sure they get paid, you know, pretty good. And then we sort of go by experience from there and where they are on the card.
Yeah.
And we try and pass on 100% of any sponsorship bonuses that go to fighters, you know. So the Of the Night awards are 100% of the sponsor money goes to the awards. Last time you seen the $3,000 win bonus for our main event, that was 100% of the sponsorship money went to the main event win bonus.
Yeah.
So, you know, we do our best to pass that on. But the reality is we're like everyone else in the market. So we just try to provide a better experience for the fighters. We try to make sure that we're very organised. We communicate well with them. They stay in a nice hotel. They have access to everything, because the hotel for the Eaton's Hill, if anyone's ever been there, is right above a Woolworths and grilled and restaurants and pharmacies, and everything you could need is in the one spot. And the views across the road. So we just try to provide a better experience.
Yep, 100%. Well, look, Damo, obviously there was a big news, you know, 2 or 3 weeks ago now that, you know, Junior Tafa signed with the UFC, and obviously a former Beatdown Promotions, you know, athlete himself. You know, we asked him about the amateur level and the local scene here in Queensland, and he was, you know, very amped about it, thought it was at a, you know, it's only getting better and it's peaking kind of thing. So what do you think that says about Beatdown Promotions itself, that it could potentially be a pathway, you know, for guys to eventually get to the UFC or other bigger promotions?
Well, look, this could be taken the wrong way. Some people might feel like I'm shitting on them, but I'm not. You know, the reality is, as a person that's been through this, that's made their way all the way to the top promotion in the world, where you fight is irrelevant, man. You know what I mean? Like, people can fight for me, they can fight for Hex, they can fight for Eternal, they could fight at the fucking local PCYC for a promotion none of us have ever heard of. What's important is that you have the right vehicle to take you from A to B, and that's a good manager. You know, you need good guidance. You need a coach that cares about you, a coach that puts time into you, a coach that studies your opponents and makes sure that you're taking the right fights. I'm not saying ducking and sandbagging. I'm just saying, you know, if you're on a 3-fight losing streak, don't go fight some guy that's 11-1. You know what I mean? Like, you need a coach that's willing to put you in fights that's an acceptable risk, not one that you probably shouldn't take because you're low on confidence, for example. So you need a coach that cares about you. You need a manager that has connections that can take you from A to B. And it doesn't matter whether it's Beatdown Promotions or anyone else. We're a platform to perform on. That's it. And, you know, I hope that we can provide that platform for a number of fighters to make it to the UFC one day. You know, we've seen Junior sign with the UFC. He's not just fought for us, he fought for X. He fought for Brave. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter where he fought. He got stoppages and he had the right manager. And Jinnan Sports did the right thing by him. You know, they got him active. They got him 4 MMA fights in 6 months. And, you know, he signed up. And, you know, really that's what fighters need to do. They need to be managed right, and they need to look at promotions as a platform to perform on. We were very fortunate that Junior performed on ours, and that we got to have his MMA debut. Me as a promoter and just a person that loves the sport, I feel like that was a really cool moment for me to be a part of, and to look back one day when he goes on to some kind of greatness and go, a young Junior Tafa fought on my card, and I know promote it. Man, fly guy in from Japan, because I'm telling you, there was no one in this country that was going to. And so I offered it to like 30 people. So yeah, it's really cool to potentially be a pathway to the UFC, but we really are just that, man. We're a platform for young up and coming athletes or veterans to perform on and be part of their journey. And I like that. It's exciting. I'd like more athletes to understand that. I think exclusivity in Australia should be, geographically restricted. So I get it if you sign exclusive to Southeast Queensland or exclusive to Melbourne or exclusive to Perth. I don't understand why guys don't take fights in different states. And that to me sounds kind of silly. I did it myself. I was exclusive to Southeast Queensland at one point under Justin Lawrence for XFC, and I fought in New Zealand, Canberra, and Sydney, all in between my 2 fights for him. I stayed active. He supported me, and at the end of the day, he was the one that got me my UFC contract. So, promotions are just here to give athletes an opportunity to perform, and I'm very fortunate, grateful that I got that with him, and hopefully we get many more opportunities to see young guys come through our show and go on to the big show.
For sure. So, Damien, sort of speaking on Beatdown, something that I think you guys offer that sort of separates you from other promotions was, the level of professionalism. As someone who's, I've gone to a lot of, the inner clubs on the Brisbane scene, some of the, old fight cards that some gyms that, I will not mention names, but, some gyms used to run, and, they don't even have a doctor out back. There's some dad holding a flap of skin together or something, and there's no doctor. So one thing I found about Beatdown was the fact that, you guys were quite professional. It was very organized. But from your perspective, what's something that you guys think you're offering that separates you from other local promotions?
Well, I just think it's a seamless experience for athletes that separates us. So at a local level, we can all just fight on any card, right? But I feel like the seamless experience, be it no rules meetings, weigh-in window between 1 and 3, and then a ceremonial. We provide like the saunas. We provide everything from we pick you up from the airport as a promoter. We take you to a 4.5-star hotel, and you've got saunas. You've got a weigh-in window, so you get in, get out. You walk back across the road to your hotel and lay down for a couple of hours. You come back for your ceremonials, and then on the night, there's no rules meeting. I give people times to turn up. And I think just end to end, it's a good experience for the athletes. And I like to think that that's what separates us, is making sure that, as an athlete myself, that these guys are supported and provided for the way that I would like. And, one of the big things is fighters get to fight week, they're like, oh, where am I going to get this? Where am I going to cut weight? Like, they all want to know. And, we communicate with emails leading up to it and all that sort of stuff. So we like to reassure them that we have this pathway for them to perform and they've got nothing to worry about. And my promotion runs off the back of a gym. So we've got a lot of people support it. The fans experience, we've got 3 entryways, not 1. We've got, 6 people working on the front doors to make sure that you're getting scanned in quickly. We've got people that walk around the VIP tables to make sure that everyone's okay throughout the night. Like, it's just, I like to think it's just a good, seamless experience across the board. And, we do our best to match the fights up evenly. But what separates us completely from everyone else, at least in Queensland, is that every single fight card we have, within our power, will have an international athlete on it. And we will bridge a gap between Australian athletes and international athletes without Australians having to travel 10 to 30 hours across the world to compete in someone else's backyard.
100%.
And we're willing to do that. We're willing to spend our profit to make sure that there's an international fight on every fight card.
Definitely. Well, look, Damo, I know maybe about a month or 2 ago, I saw you put a thing on your story saying, Beatdown on the road, or, maybe a different location for a Beatdown Promotions event. Now, obviously, I replied to your story and said the Gold Coast, obviously being from here and living on the Gold Coast. But, at the moment, as it stands, is there any, vision in your mind that you can see any potential of Beatdown potentially branching out and maybe going, North Queensland or other areas like that?
It's funny, man. I organised a marriage once, a wedding from Townsville in Brisbane, and it was an absolute fucking night. And I couldn't imagine trying to play a kind of event that's not in my own city. but I got it done and I'm still married. So who knows? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But I'll tell you what, the Gold Coast does seem like a nice way to branch out because it's just down the road. We can drive the cage there. We can drive back that night.
Yeah.
Logistically, it makes a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure about venues and whatnot, but I don't know. Maybe down the track. We've got 3 shows booked this year already.
Awesome.
We've got them locked in at the Eaton's Hill, and we don't plan on changing that. But who knows what 2024 holds? We'll be 5 shows deep, and I don't know, maybe we'll float with our borders or something a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, Damo, I just wanted to ask you because watching the amateurs on your last card, it was really exciting to see how even the level amongst amateur fighters, it just seems to be growing year upon year. The amateurs just seem to be getting better. How do you view sort of the local talent that's coming onto the amateur scene for this next Beatdown card? Because if it's anything like the last Beatdown card, I think the level of the amateurs is really going to surprise the crowd.
Yeah, look, even the guys that are making debuts, like guys and girls that are making debuts now, like it's not like it used to be. This sport's evolved so much that it's only natural that when people start this sport younger and have fights, they're going to be more evolved when they have their first fight. When I had my first fight, we were just thrown in there on like 6 days' notice and like get after it from a kickboxing gym. You know what I mean? It's like, or a jiu-jitsu guy just gets thrown in there. But now we've got gyms like my own, like Team Compton, like Southside MMA. These guys are not kickboxing gyms, jiu-jitsu gyms. They're MMA gyms. You know what I mean? Of course, Team Compton and the Comptons are known for their Thai boxing and Elliott's world titles, but like they're MMA gyms, man. These guys are producing athletes. Even my amateur guys, they're at a good level. They're learning. It's not all about just banging heads 6 days a week and working out who doesn't have a headache the next Monday. It's like, people are evolving. People are getting better at MMA. The sport's growing, and it's natural that feeds down, and one day that's going to feed down to the junior level, just like rugby does. It's going to feed all the way down, and the juniors are going to be sick, and everyone's going to be like, how good are these 9-year-olds? Yeah. You see them getting punched in the head. That's why there's IMAP rules, right? There's no head strikes until you're 12, 13, 15, whatever it is. And then there's no strikes on the ground and all that sort of stuff. And the rules, it's basically jiu-jitsu with punches to the body. And it's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? But one day, we're going to be watching that going, these kids are sick. You know what I mean? Imagine when they have their first amateur MMA fight at 18. It's going to be wild. It's going to be like watching something in the UFC in 2020. Yeah. So I just think that the level of amateurs across the country is better because the sport is better and more evolved here. And gyms are better because we now have MMA coaches, not just a kickboxing coach and just an MMA coach, and neither of them work together. Yeah. We just go, oh, you've done your jiu-jitsu today and you've done your kickboxing today. Here's your MMA fight tomorrow. Yeah. It's not like that anymore. And so I think it's just a natural progression for the sport to evolve and then it to feed down to a bottom level, which is amateurs coming into the game at the moment. And, we use good gyms. So I think we're always going to get good athletes from those gyms. So I think that's probably the reason why, man. And I think people will be pleasantly surprised by the amateur fighters we have on this card. We've got an insane grappling matchup between Torres and Hammond. And then Ethan Mitchell's back. And, that kid can strike and grapple. And then we've got the girls. We've got 2 female fights on this card.
Awesome.
So, we've got Nakora versus Chloe Henry. And I train with Chloe, and Nakora's at fights, so that's Chloe's making her debut, and she can throw them. Don't worry about that. And so we've got a great card, man. It's going to be unreal.
Look, man, Damo, a couple quick ones from us. Obviously, you got to go, but obviously, big fight tomorrow, Volkanovski and Makachev, and obviously a guy who's fought in Australia before for the UFC. I want to get your quick take on that one and where you think that fight goes.
Yeah, look, my opinion on that fight, and I'll give you my honest view on it, not just my Australian bias view. Do I want Volk to win? Of course I do. Do I think he can win? 100% he can win. I think that Volk can knock him out in the 4th round. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in the 3rd. I think Volk's biggest threat is if he gets taken down in the 1st. I think getting taken down in the 1st and a potential sub in the 1st is a real threat for him. But I think the longer the fight goes, the better it is. I do agree with him. I don't think he'll be easy to hold down. I don't think we've ever seen anyone hold him down very easily. And there is a significant size difference, but I wouldn't expect a massive strength difference.
Yep, for sure. And Damien, look, man, last question from us. And just wanted to ask, man, how is base going?
Base is sick, man. We've got a second gym at North Lakes. We opened it at the start of December. It's now the start of February, and it's going great. Our member base is growing incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And base Brendale is still pumping, and we hope that one day we have a super center. I'll put that out there. We're already for a bigger gym, so we'll see what happens, man. We're going from strength to strength. We don't have an end goal. The end goal is wherever we end up. And we just focus on building a bigger community and a better culture, and we focus on making sure that we have martial artists that have the fastest possible growth to the top. With a reduction of injuries, and that's not always possible. But what we want is a steeper learning curve, and that generally happens with less resistance. Yeah. So yeah, we're doing good, man. The gym's doing good as a whole. Our member base is great. Our community is fantastic. And, our kids program's growing, and it's very exciting every day. I mean, I wake up, I'm living the dream. I'm literally coaching martial arts for the rest of my life, and I've got eight staff that get to do the same thing, which is
yeah, awesome. Amazing. Well, look, Damien, thank you very much for joining us today, man. We really appreciate it. And look, man, all the best prepping for the card. I know that we'll definitely be there, and we can't wait to see the fights. And we'll have to pop in a base sometime for a roll and do this interview in person next time.
You guys are always welcome. I've got heaps of office space upstairs, and I've got all the recording stuff as well. So, but one last thing, guys, if anyone wants to get tickets to Beatdown Promotions, I promise you an amazing event, an even better night out, and everyone can head to www.beatdownpromotions.com.au and grab tickets there. Awesome. They are selling fast, and we do expect it would sell out again.
Awesome. We'll put that in the bio link as well of this interview. We'll put that in there for you.
Legend. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Damien.
Thanks very much, Damo.
Nice.